Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today. Today we have Dr. Roolvink here to describe his late-breaking clinical trial. One of the first questions that we wanted to ask you is to describe the trial a little bit to us, and then we can go on to some others.
Okay, I will. Thank you for the invitation. We're going to present here at the ACC the results of the Early-BAMI trial, results of administrating beta blockers prior to the PCI in patients with STEMI. If you look at the past, the prognosis of patients has improved very dramatically over the years. And current clinical guidelines tell us to administer beta blockers after PCI within 12 hours after admission. But there's still controversial data what is beneficial about administrating beta blockers prior to reperfusion. If you look at the past, there are a few trials in the thrombolytic era. The COMET trial, the Miami trial, with conflicting results, and also you saw in the large COMET trial more cardiogenic shock in patients treated with intravenous beta blocker prior to reperfusion. In the area of primary PCI, there's only one clinical trial, the METOCAT trial from the Spanish investigators, and they showed a reduction in infarct size with administering 50 milligrams of metoprolol. But that trial had some shortcomings. It was single-blinded and not placebo-controlled, and it only included patients with an anterior infarction. So we tried to conduct a trial with all STEMI patients, anterior, non-anterior infarction, in a double-blinded placebo-controlled design.
And so, could you, in a few words, summarize the results of this particular trial and some of the current clinical implications of it?
Of course. We included 683 patients from January 2011 until November 2015. We started the trial with the clinical endpoint as enzymatic infarct size, but we changed the endpoint after 160 patients to infarct size measured with MRI. So that explains why only 55% of the included patients only had their MRI. But we also looked at the secondary endpoint, also infarct size by enzymatic endpoints. And looking at the results, then the infarct size between the placebo group and the metoprolol group did not differ at all. So there was no benefit observed with a prior infusion of metoprolol prior to the primary PCI. Looking at the whole patient population of the whole 683 patients, we also enzymatically observed no benefit of at enzymatic endpoint of metoprolol. And also in three specified subgroups, the anterior wall infarctions, patients presenting early within 6 hours, and patients with an occluded vessel during angiogram. Also in these pre-specified subgroups, we observed no benefit with metoprolol prior to the reperfusion.
With these results in mind, what do you see are the future directions in this area, and what do you plan on doing next?
Well, of course, these data are in conflict with the results of the METOCAT trial. People also helped us in this trial they also conducted in this trial. But there are some differences between the two trials. We encountered a very low infarct size, lower than expected. Maybe because we included all infarct size patients, not on just the large anterior infarctions, and also gave a lower dose up to 10 milligrams and the metoprolol up to 50 milligrams. So I don't think that the discussion is completely ended with this trial. I think there is a need for a large randomized trial conducting patients with a larger infarction, administer the beta blocker much more earlier, as soon as possible in the ambulance before just directly after diagnosis, and maybe also power it just not for enzymatic infarct size but also for clinical endpoints. And I think that's why we'll end the discussion if metoprolol prior to reperfusion is beneficial or not.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Roolvink, for chatting with us today. We appreciate your time.